Live from Chicago, Illinois, the home of the James Beard Awards and Gene and Jude hot dogs, it's the Pandemic Talk Show. Featuring TJ Shanoff and the Stay at Home Orchestra. Today's guests, Alpana Singh, Psalm 1, Steve Gadlin, Susan Messing and Rachel Mason, and now the guy who puts fries on your hot dog, Justin Kaufman.
Yeah, I'll take it. How you doing, everybody? I would say fries on a hot dog. I love that, Goldie. That reminds me of Demon Dogs, man. That was always a good jam.
Always classic.
Always classy. Welcome to another week here on the Pandemic Talk Show. I'm Justin Kaufman. Goldie's here. TJ Shanoff is here as well. TJ, how are you, buddy?
Hey! I'm drinking poison, cause bleach makes the virus go away. And I'm one of the original Boys to Men.
I love it that we had you on here.
You can't drink it. You have to inject it.
Yeah, you got to inject it. You're off.
Why not do both? Why can't we just respect Trump and just cover ourselves in bleach, lungs, veins? The problem with liberals, you don't get it.
We don't get it. We don't get it. I will say this. It's awesome that we're Tuesday through Thursday, so we get an extra couple days for TJ to come up with these brilliant songs, right? Otherwise, I don't think you could have done that in one day, right?
I wrote that one 8 minutes ago.
Well, I'm psyched, man. This is a great show. This is how we're going to do it for the rest of the time here with this show. We have an awesome lineup. Alpana Singh joins us, awesome host of Check Please, and her own restaurant, Terra and Vine. We'll talk to her about the restaurant industry and what's going on with restaurants, but also just she's always a great guest. She's a good Chicago. That's what I love about this show. It's just great Chicagoans, an awesome community that comes together. Psalm 1 is going to be here, which is awesome. Yeah. Psalm 1's a great Chicago rapper. She's going to perform later in the program. How about that? How about it?
Love her.
Big fan.
Big fan. And then also our interns, Brittany and Brittany, are going to show up a little bit later because I don't know about you guys, but I saw that story about the Southside party, the house party that hit the papers over the weekend. It got the governor all mad, all that kind of stuff. And as I zoomed in real close, I saw our interns. I saw Brittany and Brittany right in the living room there with the red.
They were there.
They were there. So we'll talk with them coming up. So yeah, we got a great show lined up. We are going to forego the monologue and get into the business. But I have a good joke for you guys. I thought about this one like 5 minutes ago. So you saw the story, the Mayo Clinic story on Vice President Mike Pence. Did you see that story? That he went to the Mayo Clinic this afternoon and he refused to wear a mask visiting COVID-19 patients at the clinic. He did this whole thing where if you look at the photos, everybody's got a mask on, right? Everybody around but him. And so the joke goes, maybe he didn't have a mask, but he sure has a beard. Right? Something like that?
That's mother to you.
That's mother. That's something like that. This is gonna workshop. This is the workshop part of this show, the Pandemic.
If you're that anti-gay, it means you're probably gay, Mike Pence.
Not surprised he went to the Mayo Clinic considering he's 90% mayonnaise.
Oh!
10% Wonder Bread.
Perfect. See, we don't need monologues. We just need riff.
Yeah, why bother writing jokes?
Why write them, right? All right, so before we get to Alpana Singh, who'll be joining us to be our first guest here on the Pandemic Talk Show, let's, tonight, broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook, a great comedian is taking the air. He and his duo have been a part of Chicago for a long time. They used to do a show called Talkin' Funny on Can TV, and they also have been on stage all over Chicago. And they are tonight a great show. Lauren Lapkus, the great former Chicago comedian, is going to be the guest. It's a great show all the way from Baltimore. This is where Sasha and the Noob are from. Sasha, welcome to Pandemic Talk Show. There we go. Where's he at? Do we have him?
Hey!
There he is.
Hello,
hey.
everybody.
How's it
I
going?
like that you have this funny piano man who has all the jokes, man. I want one of those on my show. That's great.
Well, you have the Noob. You have a slide whistle. The Noob does all your music.
The freaking slide whistle, and he has a lot of emotional damage. It's baggage the show doesn't need, to be honest. But
Right.
I'd like a funny piano guy.
Well, TJ is, he's for hire, at least in his bathroom studio.
I've been in Chicago comedy for 20 years. I only work for free. So whatever you need, I'm in.
Now remember, I've seen you do the funny stuff. It's good stuff. And this
all right,
other
Sasha.
okay.
So Talking Funny is back on
Thank
YouTube.
you. You're okay too.
What does it mean to bring the show back? Because it was 15 years ago or so the last time you guys did
You know, we did this, it was cable access, and we had like 12 people who would watch every week. And now that we're on YouTube, I don't know if you know, but they have like 1 billion people who have YouTube. So
Yeah,
the
right.
potential reach for advertisers
Huge. It's huge.
is enormous. Yeah.
Right.
So we're pulling in a lot of the big names because of that.
It's on. You guys do it at 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, right? So it's coming up.
9,
tonight.
8 Central, because the noob lives in Chattanooga now. So we had the.
So what's the deal? So give us a backstory, because you guys have been performing comedy for a long time as a duo, but the noob doesn't talk.
No, when he was a little kid, he watched his father kill his mother. So we try not to bring it up more than 5 or 6 times per show, just because it's still fresh for him, you know.
It's still
But
fresh.
yeah, we do comedy. Normally, we host things. We talk to real comedians, working funny peoples, and we just try to have fun with the regular telephone callers. And you know, our show is your show, is what we say starting now.
That's nice.
Are you doing your show right now in a schwitz? Are you in a sauna? Is that a steam room?
No, it's where I like to work. The acoustics are really nice. This guy, he'll sit still for hours on end. He doesn't mind at all. So I like the timbre of the wood.
Right. You know, for you, what are you doing at home? I mean, how are you dealing with the stay-at-home, the shelter-in-place rules here in the state of Illinois?
Well, that's why we brought the show back. I was so freaking bored. I thought, well, what can we do? And unfortunately, technology exists to revive our show. So there we are. Should have left it dead, but you know, it keeps us busy. It's good fun.
Now you're trying to get a lot of I watched the episodes, and you're really trying to push stardom. You think that this is a chance for you by having a celebrity on to get a better celebrity, a bigger celebrity. How does that work?
Yeah, every time we have a guest, we say to them like, well, who's somebody who's like a little more famous than you, who we can say, oh, well, we had Jordan Klepper on. Will you be on the show? And they'll think, well, I'm only like a little more famous than Jordan Klepper. So sure, I'll do your silly show. And if we keep stepping up like that, eventually I'm thinking Gary Busey, which would be A-list, right? Or someone like that. So Lauren Lapkus, unfortunately, we're probably going to peak tonight with Lauren. But we've got Kevin Ellison from The State will be on next week. And then no one else will return my email. So
right. Well, you got time.
Revival, but
yeah. So what should we expect from the show tonight?
Well, we're going to play Find the Triangle Thing with Lauren. We're going to play Lunch Emergency, a very fun game. We have a new thing where callers can call and spin the wheel, and the wheel has all sorts of terrible consequences for the already depressed noob. So that'll be a lot of fun. So really, it's like the show that you can call and be on and have access to really hot celebrities and ask them stupid questions. Maybe just call and flush the toilet, which is what most callers do.
Well,
That's how you don't steal our bits, Sasha.
Oh, no.
That's TJ's number one move.
Oh, dang.
I've got a bathroom studio. I don't mean to brag, and I know this is me being haughty.
A little bit
All right.
haughty, yeah.
All right, Sasha. Well, Sasha and the Noob tonight, Talking Funny. Where can we find it?
You go to talkingfunny2020.com, and that'll redirect you to the YouTube page, which was free. And you can watch there. Or if you're on Facebook and you're friends with anyone who I'm friends with, this thing just finds you. The show will play in your browser.
Well, it's a big success in our household. Sasha and the Noob, Talking Funny 2020. You can find it. We'll put it in the comments right here. Sasha, thank you, buddy.
Thanks for having me on, buddy. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. All right. I love that show. You guys watch that show? It's the best show on going right now. I swear to God, I love it.
I stopped watching after the Klepper episode because nobody's bigger. And Jordan's a friend. Nobody's bigger than a Jordan Klepper.
Nobody's bigger.
I won't watch.
Is he returning your emails?
In fact, my Instagram likes, I think, count.
Okay, that counts. That's as good or better.
Love the guy.
All right, let's do a quick commercial, and then we'll come up with Alpana Singh.
If you have any charitable organization or nonprofit that is helping people with COVID-19, please reach out to us at the Pandemic Talk Show. Meanwhile, Off Their Plate is a grassroots nonprofit that partners with impacted chefs and restaurant owners to provide meals to healthcare workers on the front lines of our fight against COVID-19 and provide economic relief to the restaurant workers affected most acutely by the pandemic. They are doing meals all over this country, Boston, San Francisco, New York City, Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, Chicago, DC, and Philly, and Seattle. And so far have delivered more than 23,000 meals across the country, including over 2,000 right here in Chicago, where they work with 7 restaurants and 20 health facilities. Anyone interested in more information can go to offtheirplate.com. That's offtheirplate.com. Little rusty on the read. It was a long weekend.
It was just a lot of cities.
There's a lot of
cities.
Yeah. Look, I don't write them, I just read them.
Was waiting for you to break into the Huey Lewis Heart of Rock and Roll and just kind of list off.
It's still beating.
Detroit, San Antonio, and Libertyville.
Libertyville, big town for Huey Lewis in the news.
Wild Cadillac.
I forgot the guy who sang the song, but I think it's "Hot in the City." Remember the "Hot in the City"?
Billy Idol. Billy Idol sang that.
Yeah, it was Billy Idol, and they would recut each time you get to the end, and he'd say "New York City." They would recut for different markets around the city when it was playing on the radio back in the 80s. So my friend Neil, he lived outside of Peoria, and they'd be like, "Peoria, hot in the city." And you're like, that's a very small city to be hot in.
That's the bellwether, though. If you can play in Peoria, you can play anywhere.
You can. All right, our first guest tonight, or today, I keep saying tonight. I guess it's afternoon. You could say it's tonight. It's tonight on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, Why not, Justin? Whatever you need.
Right now.
Make up your own time.
Yeah, right. It doesn't really matter. She runs the restaurant Terra and Vine, which is in Evanston. Great spot. And she's also the host of Check Please on Channel 11. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Alpana Singh. Alpana, welcome. How are you?
TJ, when I logged on, you look like Paul Verant. He's a chef.
Sure.
Paul Verant's long lost twin brother.
Wow.
Thank you. I've eaten at a perennial Verant back in the day.
Yeah, I told you look like him. You guys could be like twins. You should get 50% off when we're allowed.
Wow, you should.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being my restaurant agent.
Alpana, how are you?
Is there a doppelganger discount?
What are you up to? How is sheltering in place for you?
I actually am just cooking every single day and testing out recipes. If you look at my Instagram, it's just all food, and I'm recreating. I'm actually taking the Thomas Keller masterclass.
Wow.
I'm going through every single recipe, and each one can fill a day. And it's just basic things like carrots and asparagus and artichokes, and it's just there's a reason why he has 3 Michelin stars and I don't.
What an amazing! That's a great idea to do that. Thomas Keller, one of the best chefs.
No, but you get the discipline, the asparagus. I had no idea you're supposed to remove the nubs from the asparagus. Now I'm gonna look for that when I go to a restaurant. Like, you didn't remove my nubs. There's still nubs on the asparagus.
I was gonna say, if you're getting delivery from Instacart, I'm not sure they're gonna remove the nubs for you.
I learned how to peel a tomato the other day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
that's a thing that has to happen. All right.
Peel me a tomato.
Well, I always like talking with you because I always feel like the conversation goes in a thoughtful way, way away from just promoting what either of us are working on. But for you to be in this situation, obviously you represent and you advocate for the restaurant industry because you're a part of it. You've been a part of it for a long time. As we get closer to May 1st, and a lot of the small business loans seem to skip the Chicago restaurant community, and there's a lot of talk about that. And then at the same time, just, the idea of having to make this change into a new normal. How are your fellow restaurateurs and chefs and people in the industry taking what's happening?
I would say that the word probably describe all of us is probably frustrated. Very frustrated, because the PPP loan, the Paycheck Protection Program loan, which we qualified for, our restaurant's not currently open. We have the loan in place. We actually just got funded 2 days ago, which
all right.
Very lucky. But the problem is we're not open. And so we have from now until 8 weeks to burn it off in payroll, but I don't have any payroll to burn because I'm not open. So then that, of course, becomes a loan, which, okay, but then you still have to pay it back. So it's not really a relief effort that's done with the business community in mind. And we're one of the lucky ones because we actually got some money. And so, but if we don't burn it off within 8 weeks, then we have to give it back, or we have to pay it back, yes.
Obviously you're seeing some of the protection orders or the stay-at-home orders being lifted in some of the southern states, and there's the eerie shots of people in restaurants where there's 1 person or 2 people, and then we've seen what's happened in China and other places where they've gone to new social distancing rules. Is that the point where the restaurant industry's at, about pretty soon you have to open the doors, and when you do, is it going to be?
Well, I think what we're all sort of processing right now is the thing that we keep hearing, and that's the problem, is we're trying to make these like life decisions with as little information and a lot of hearsay. You know, I mean, there's just really not a lot of information. So a lot of it is just kind of, as we're looking at to see what's happening in Georgia and Texas and these states that are opening and seeing what they're doing, because it seems like, okay, well, it's going to be some form of that. So like, for example, in Georgia, the seating is for every 500 square feet, they allow 10 patrons. And so for 1,000 square foot restaurant, that's 20 people. Now, the problem is, unless you've worked out something with your landlord for rent, you are now trying to pay all of your bills, but at reduced capacity. So you have to come up with another way to recoup that inventory, recoup that revenue. And so for us at Terra and Vine, I was talking to my partner this morning, you know, do we take the bar, because we're not gonna be able to open the bar, and turn that into a packaged goods store? You know, do we turn that into like a wine shop, a liquor store, so that people can have the experience to go? So I think that with everything that's going on, there's a lot of sort of thinking on your feet and pivoting in a very fast way to, okay, if we're going to have reduced capacity, then we have to sort of like open up like a grocery. Like I think Stephanie Iser just announced this morning that she's going to open Girl in the Goatsery. It took me a while to get that. And I'm like, oh, no, but that's really what we're going to see. And the other thing is, how long is this going to be? Because, you know, it's almost like if the infection rates go up until there's a vaccine, you got to pull the pandemic plan. You know, I mean, we could get shut down again in December, January. We don't know. And so it just, I think we're just going to have to be flexible and pivot and create a new model of takeaway, delivery, packaged goods, sort of this sort of like hybrid, and reduce capacity until there's a vaccine or adequate testing or adequate tracing.
From your point, I mean, that's terrifying, but is there any part of the innovation of it that stimulates you, that you say, okay, you know what, we have to figure this out, we have to do this, it's obviously our lives are on the line and there's terror involved, but yeah, the idea of you coming up with something new?
You know, actually, I've talked to several restaurateurs about this, and they all said that the thing that they've been most surprised by is how much people love the meal kits. Like Alinea apparently is doing extremely well with the Alinea experience at home. And my friend did it the other night. And first of all, they're like, it's $70 for 2 people, which is not $1,000 for 2 people. He's like, it's Alinea. And he was showing me the instructions, and, you know, he texted me like the photo of the instructions and how he put together. He's like, yeah, I'm like Grant Achatz. I'm like in the kitchen making Alinea, you know? And I thought, wow, like Alinea probably would have never have done that. But, you know, kudos to Nick Kokonis. And, you know, I mean, he's a wizard, but even his talk reservation system, you know, they're not able to take reservations. So they've pivoted to online takeaway, but these family packages of like, you get 2 pastas, a salad, a bottle of wine, and it feeds a family of 4. You don't have to make any decisions. You just go, I'll take package A, package B, package C at different price points. And I know a lot of restaurant owners like, why didn't I think of this before? Like, this is great. Like, people love it. And so one lady actually said that her customers are like, you're going to continue this, right?
Yeah, right.
And so
that's the question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it's about. I mean, are we going to see a different way that we experience and utilize and consume restaurant food? I mean, is the next move going to be Alinea going to put a drive-through in?
You know, aside from just being incredibly terrified right now, you know, if you remove the emotion from all of this and you just kind of observe the changes that have been taking place. So I was listening to this podcast last night, and this guy said, he's from the tech sector. He said, we have basically undergone 5 years worth of changes in 3 weeks. It's amazing how rapidly people have adapted to Zoom, you know, or webinars, or like doing this. And it's only been like 5 weeks, right? If I told you like 6 weeks ago that you're going to be doing this in your shower, TJ.
Thank you for noticing. Would you like to... Available for rent.
Like, there's no way. Like, what? We're gonna do a show from my shower, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's normal."
Well, we started piloting this back in December, so we're kind of nothing to do with the virus. It just turned out that way. Because he has such a nice bathroom, right?
My wife makes me live in here. This is a whole other thing.
But from a restaurant perspective, I think that we have to have faith that people can very quickly adapt. You know, there was some concern about, okay, when you go to a restaurant, do you want your waiter to be wearing a mask? I'm like, people adapt very quickly. You know, and if everybody else is doing it, then it just becomes the new norm. I mean, it's part of like the strange dystopian nature of how quickly we can get used to something.
Yeah, it's great. You know, I obviously there's so much, like I said, it's terrifying, but at the same time, I love watching the new normal kind of play out. For you and just you not being someone as involved in the restaurant industry, just you personally, are you discovering new things about yourself and sort of moving forward, or are you sick and tired and ready to go back to what it used to be?
You know, I would like to go back, but I think also, I'm smart. And I realize, like, okay, if wishes could be unicorns, that it's not going to be normal. It's just not. And so it's just kind of like, yeah, I can sit here and like, okay, when we go back, we're not going to go back to what we had on March 16th. We're just not. It's going to be wild before we get there. And so I think that as we slowly absorb, a lot of it is just shocking. If you told me on March 17th, the night we close, like, you're not going to be back until June 1st. I'm like, what? So it's been brought upon us in stages, right? It's like, okay, well, we'll be back in 2 weeks, like, right? And then now it's just kind of like, oh, wait, now you're telling me that this is not going to get probably till next spring and maybe even into 2022. So I think that you have to kind of, like I said, take the emotion out of it and go, okay, how do I pivot for the long term for the next 18 months? And what does that mean for me? And so one of the things that I've discovered is doing these wine tastings on Zoom, on Instagram Live, and connected to an audience that way. And I know a few wineries have been pleasantly surprised as a vehicle to be able to connect to their audience in a very intimate way. And so
I love it. I'd say the one thing also we learned, of course, a lot from you today, but we also learned about the nubs and the asparagus. So I feel like, we've given people a service. Alpana Singh, the restaurateur up at Terra and Vine, and also the host of Check Please on Channel 11, longtime restaurateur, master sommelier. Great to see you. Thank you so much.
Take care. Be well. Stay safe.
Oh, great. And we found out that you get a 50% discount at any Paul Verrant restaurant, TJ. That's great.
I'm pretty excited about that. To kind of piggyback on what Alpana was saying about how times have changed, I think this all goes back to Burger King offering the Impossible Whopper. I think the change in society really began when you could get...
It was right there. It was.
Right, that's kind of the seminal moment.
Fantastic burger.
It is good.
I feel like I'm killing myself, but I'm eating healthy, and I love it.
Right. It's a health food, but it's not.
I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting when the restaurants reopen and everyone's just like, yeah, I like it the way it was. I like it when I can walk up and you can hand me a paper bag and I can get out.
We're working on it too at Daisy's. We're going to have meal kits and vegetables from the farm that supplies us. So, it's a frightening time, like she said, but we'll figure our way out of it.
Well, and Justin, Scott got a plug, and I want to say those of us who support our president only eat at Ruth's Chris.
Did they give the money back? Did Ruth's Chris give the money back?
Probably not. Did they?
I think everybody's giving the money back. The Lakers got money.
If the Lakers
gave it back. They gave it back.
All right. So you saw the photo, the disturbing photo of the Southside house party, which I thought was hilarious. But the idea of a ton of people in one room that ended up on the front page of the Sun-Times, this, that, and the other, and big story about a house party that was defying the stay-at-home order. And I zoomed in on that photo, and you know what? I swear I saw our interns, Brittany and Brittany, in the living room. And I don't know if Brittany and Brittany are about to join us now, because I haven't even seen them since we did the stay at home, and they are both on the Zoom now. Brittany, are you there?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Brittany, that's who I am.
I'm Brittany.
That's Brittany.
Now, was I wrong? Hi, Brittany. Was I wrong? Were you at that house party or no?
Can you see us?
I see your name and I see a couple of butts, and that looks like you two. I think that's both of you.
I don't know if the viewers at home can see the butts, but we can definitely see the butts.
They're called nubs.
You got to pull them off before you cook.
Oh, are you talking about asparagus?
We are. We're talking about asparagus. That's
always.
Right.
Oh my God! Do you remember the time that you had asparagus and then you thought you died later, but you
My
hadn't?
teeth was so wicked.
Oh my God! It was like I thought you cleaned the bathroom, but you didn't.
I didn't. It was my pee.
So weird. I don't know
All right.
how that happened.
Brittany, all right, let's focus.
So-
What were you at this house party? Was I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, heck yeah, we were at that party. We don't miss
It's a
a
good
Southside
party.
party. Don't stop.
Don't
about the
stop until
state-
you get enough.
Were you
What
wearing
about-
masks? Were you
Yeah,
wearing
what-
any
what
kind
were
of
you doing there?
PPE?
What about the stay at home
I was
stuff?
socially distancing from people I hate.
It's true. She didn't sleep with anyone that night.
All right. Well, what have you been doing in the stay-at-home order? I mean, how has life been different for our interns, Brittany and Brittany?
Well, we're staying on a friend's boat, and I'm on the bow, and Brittany's on the stern.
And whenever we're bored, we're like, let's switch places.
It's true, we do. 6 feet apart. That's like leave Jesus in the middle or something, whatever that is.
I love my friends so much.
I love you, Brittany.
I love you, Brittany. I love you. You need to come to the stern of the boat and see me.
I can stand on the aft, but you have to stand on the aft. I don't remember the other part.
Point is that like Corona can't get to a boat.
It can if we have kept the alcohol level in our bodies really high because Brittany's not allowed to drive because she had a DUI. And so she has to blow in this thing. So I know she can't drive the boat.
But President Trump said I could drink Lysol, and that's like wicked high concentration of alcohol.
I wouldn't do it. And this is why, because we have to clean the boat.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
I mean, we could always just like Amazon drone some more to the boat.
True.
Now, I'm not fully clear. I understand they're interns, but are you girls in school? Is that what what do you do with yourselves without interning?
We're still technically at ASU, but we're online now. I mean, that's why Phoenix University is so good now. And so is Southern New Hampshire University. So are YouTube stars. I mean, people like, they're the harbingers of like good tidings.
I mostly watch YouTube tutorials or unboxing videos.
And that's why she didn't wear a mask at the party, because she wanted to show her new makeup.
Right.
That party was so fun. Like, how can you tell if like someone's ugly under a mask? You can't fault us for wanting to party.
Hey, speaking of which, weren't you guys also at that Orthodox Jewish wedding in Rogers Park? Did I see that as well this weekend?
L'chaim, my friend.
Yeah, l'chaim. We danced with the women. We didn't dance with the men. The men wouldn't look at us.
We weren't allowed to. It was like really weird.
All right. Well, are you ever going to come back to work? I think it's the last question I have for you guys. Are you guys ever going to plan to be a part of this show? I mean, you signed up for it.
I thought we were on assignment for you.
Yeah, I thought we were still getting credit for it.
Okay, but what are you doing for the show? I mean, what are you reporting on, or what are you doing if you're...
Well, today the lake is a little stormy.
Okay.
So I'm
And
reporting.
and the mayor doesn't want us to party.
Yeah, she's funny. Like we have like a little mini fridge, and I put her inside the fridge. So like not that she's little like Rahm Emanuel, but like that she can't.
She's
fit in the
like
fridge.
littler than Rahm Emanuel, but like bigger somehow.
It's like she fits on a like bluebell or something, like a flower.
Bigger nubs.
What?
right.
Are you guys okay?
I just wish the audience could see the picture that we're seeing, because every time they talk, there's just these two butts.
It's
We are.
me and Brittany on our boat. And
I understand.
Yeah, we're safety scissoring.
All right. Well, safety
That's Kyle.
scissoring. That's right. Social distancing scissoring. Brittany and Brittany, a pleasure to have you guys, and stay working. And we'd like to check in with you regularly. Okay.
Mazel
Okay.
tov.
love it. Thanks, Bob.
Love you, mean it. Bye.
All right, there they go. Brittany and Brittany.
How
about that, huh?
I now know what it feels like to be Zoom bombed. That's my first. I feel like we were hate bombed.
They are strong. They're strong, and they do good work when they want to. It's just, they spend a lot of time partying, and I don't think that's good for social distancing. This break.
I've never been invited to a boat once. They get
Never.
invited to a boat all the time. Nobody's ever said, "Do you want to come hang out on a boat?"
Well, maybe Brittany will do that for you, Scott. You know, let's maybe dance. All right, this read then Psalm 1 coming up.
Well, this is a great segue. People are feeling more isolated than ever, especially families who are currently facing a cancer diagnosis. As the world's largest peer-to-peer cancer support organization, Immerman Angels provides free one-on-one support to cancer fighters, survivors, previvors, and caregivers anywhere throughout the world. Utilizing a unique matching process, Immerman Angels connects support seekers to mentor angels via phone, text, or email, ensuring nobody needs to leave the safety of their own homes. In these times of uncertainty and anxiety, the need for emotional and psychosocial support is absolutely critical. If you or someone you love is impacted by cancer, please encourage them to call 877-274-5529 or register online at immermanangels.org to get connected to someone who's been in their shoes.
It's the Pandemic Talk Show. I'm Justin Kaufman. Goldie's here, TJ Shanoff. Our next guest, our final guest for today's live Pandemic Talk Show, is one of the best hip-hop artists in Chicago. She's been doing it for a while now. She's part of the ensemble Rapper Chicks. She has been a long-time great performer here in town. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Psalm 1.
Yeah. There she is.
Hello.
Hey, someone.
What's
See you.
going
Good to-
on?
How are you?
I'm very well considering.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Are you in Chicago? Are you staying at home in Chicago?
No, I am in my luxurious, expensive, wealthy home in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, Minneapolis. I love it.
Yes.
How are you doing? How is the shelter in place going for you?
I mean, it's going. It's definitely a huge adjustment as someone who is like a self-proclaimed introvert and homebody. I think I might have to reassess that. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm doing well. Like, not homeless. We got food. We have more cereal in the house than I've ever had in my adult life. I can't remember the last time we had so much cereal. And yeah, I'm just working on music more at home. So I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Is that how? Because you know, we talk about creativity for you. You know, working on new music and things like that. Are you finding ways in this new space to change the way that you create?
I am pivoting to digital television star. Thank you very much. Starting
Nice.
with this right here. So putting that on the resume immediately. But
yeah.
I literally, when I first moved up here, one of my good friends who's a musician yelled at me for not having my own home setup already. So for the last couple years, I've kind of been developing my own home studio to record. And it was so funny, like just like earlier this year before the Rona hit big, I had just kind of figured out how to record final vocals because we were doing a lot of demos here, but just figured out how to do final vocals here. So I guess that's what it's going to be.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've known you and your career for a long time, and I've talked to you a couple times, and
Yep.
you tour a lot. I mean, you're always on tour, and that's really the source of income, but also just the way you get your music out. So without that outlet, what are you doing to replace it?
I don't know if anything can honestly replace, weeks or months of touring and then merch sales, but places like Bandcamp are waiving fees, and they've done it once. They're going to do it again on Friday. Hint, hint, psalm1.bandcamp.com. And they also are going to do it a couple times. Like, I think they're going to start doing it once a month. A friend of mine really put the idea in my head, the concept of being your own venue. So I've just been exploring that. But also I've been fortunate enough to license my music to some TV shows and some independent movies. So between licensing and doing special drops on Bandcamp, hint, hint, and basically, what else is there? I have a I have a vested interest in a Friends OnlyFans page. I don't know if y'all know about that, but I'm helping a friend with her photography for that. So I'm getting a little cut of that, which is hilarious.
All right. That's good. That's entrepreneurial of you.
I like to help. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna do it. But
You know, we were talking to Alpana just about restaurants and how the new normal might affect them. When you think about the way you do shows and the way that audiences all get together and how that might have to change when
Yep.
venues have to change social distancing, things like that. How do you think about that? Do you think as a performer about playing to a room that on purpose is half full?
Well, fortunately for me, I've played plenty of shows with only 3 people in the audience, so it won't be that big of a transition. But I've heard some interesting ideas from friends that event producers. I've had ideas about, like, you could sell tickets on Eventbrite like you would any kind of normal show, and then give them a link to somewhere else. I don't know if you've been privy to what Erykah Badu has been doing, which is amazing. She's doing these interactive shows. The first one was for $1. The second one was for $2, and she really figured out how to create a big experience in her home. I mean, my home obviously is amazing and wonderful and expensive, but social distancing rules apply, and I don't have a band, so it doesn't matter. But taking those ideas with how to, come up with a production at home, and basically the same thing you gentlemen are doing. It's like just kind of trying to pivot and adapt to feeding the audience and the micro community that you've already made.
We'll put the link, the Bandcamp link, up with this when we put it up too as well. Psalm 1,
Nice.
Joining us here in the Pandemic Talk Show. All right, you want to send us off with a performance?
Yeah, let's do
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What are we gonna hear?
This song is called Impatient, because I know that's what we all are. All right. Check. Can you hear me? Is that okay? All right. I'm gonna tell you a story since you're all here. My daddy was a powder keg and my mama was a muse. I got my legendary from both of them, so I know I got a fuse. It takes a special person to make me smile, and you got me there. Not your ordinary lover, not your ordinary player, and I don't want to wait for it, cause I've always been impatient, always been about my statements, always rising to occasion. But I swear you make me crazy when I'm thinking how I miss you. I just want your mind, body, and so don't call me superficious. Kisses, I'm not used to missing out on people that I love. Got me waiting on your sugar like I'm waiting for the plug. Got me up in here all night and feel like I've been on them drugs. Got me waiting on your loving like I'm waiting for the plug. But I don't wanna wait for it, give it to me now. I said, let me outside, give it to me now. I said, I don't wanna wait for it. I said, I don't wanna wait for it, give it to me now. This is a reminder that you just ate like 10 minutes ago, and you ate 10 minutes before that, and I'm about to eat as soon as I get off this TV show. I said, I don't want to wait for it. I said, I don't want to wait for it. You can sing along. I don't want to, I see it. Give it to me. I don't want to wait for it. Give it to me now.
Give it to me now.
Hey.
Psalm 1, yeah, I love it. Psalm 1, the great Chicago by way of Minneapolis hip-hop artist. You can find her stuff, Psalm 1, on Bandcamp. We'll put the link up. Psalm 1, awesome to have you on the program. You're always welcome here. Love it when you're here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation. And anytime, y'all be safe and wash your hands.
There it is.
So great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Peace.
The Pandemic Talk Show today. What a show, you guys. That was amazing. We put so much in. And tomorrow it's even better. Tomorrow, Robbie Folks is going to join us, the great guitar player and folk singer in Chicago, as well as Michelle Lamour, who is the awesome burlesque dancer. And we'll also have some more bits from some Chicago comedians. Got lots to do, so come on right back here at 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Ooh, I've got more 90s pop parodies about Bleach.
Never
More
mind.
Bleach with DJ and the Traveling Cocaine Circus with Goldstein. Where'd you get that shirt, man? That's awesome.
I got it online. I would say where it's from, but I had to pay for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's worth the money. The Pandemic Talk Show, we out. See you tomorrow.